Admiral Vexthor of the Xylaxian observation fleet maintained perfect stillness as his vessel's cloaking systems kept them hidden from the primitive human mining operation. His facial tentacles twitched with barely contained amusement as he watched the lone vessel approach the asteroid belt of the Proxima Centauri system. The humans had only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 years ago, and the Galactic Council had assigned his team to study their expansion efforts. Another primitive drilling operation, Lieutenant Cree commented from her station. "Shall we maintain standard observation protocols, Admiral?" Vexthor's response died in his throat as the human vessel deployed its equipment. Instead of the expected mechanical drills or laser cutters, 4 crystalline structures emerged from the ship's hull, emitting a soft blue pulse that seemed to bend the light around them. "Full sensor sweep," he ordered, his amusement replaced by professional curiosity. "What are we looking at?" The sensor officer, Commander Zill, worked his console with all 4 hands. "The technology is unusual, Admiral. They're using some form of quantum field manipulation. The crystals aren't drilling through the asteroid, they're altering its molecular structure." The bridge crew watched in silence as the human vessel approached a massive asteroid. The crystalline structures made contact, and the impossible happened. The asteroid's surface simply dissolved. Not into chunks or fragments, but into a perfectly controlled stream of particles that flowed into the ship's storage systems. "By the eternal void," Zill whispered. "They're not mining the traditional way. They're converting matter directly into programmable nanoscale particles. The efficiency readings are off our charts." Vexthor leaned forward, his strategic mind racing. The implications were staggering. This wasn't just mining technology, it was matter manipulation on a scale that even the oldest galactic civilizations had barely theorized about. "Track those particles," he ordered. "Where are they going?" The answer came from the small space station orbiting nearby. As they watched, the particles were transferred through a sophisticated magnetic containment system. But instead of simple refinement, the station began to use the material in ways that defied conventional engineering. "Admiral," Lieutenant Cree's voice trembled slightly. "The station is using the processed material to grow ships." "Grow?" Vexthor's tentacles coiled tightly against his face, a sign of intense focus among his species. "The particles are being reassembled at a quantum level. They're not building ships, they're programming matter to form into complex structures. One human operator is doing the work of an entire shipyard." The implications hit Vexthor like a gravity wave. The humans hadn't just developed better mining technology, they'd cracked the code of matter manipulation itself. Every mining ship in their fleet was potentially a mobile factory, a weapon, or something even more dangerous. "Send an encrypted burst to High Command," he ordered. "Priority Alpha. The humans aren't primitive newcomers expanding into space. They're quantum engineers who have solved problems our civilizations have struggled with for millennia. And they're treating this technology as casually as we treat standard mining operations." As if to emphasize his point, a second human mining vessel emerged from FTL travel nearby. This one was smaller, more streamlined, but equipped with 6 of the crystalline structures. It approached a different asteroid and began the same process, but with even greater efficiency. "Belay that transmission," Vexthor suddenly ordered. "Look at the variation in their designs. These aren't mass-produced vessels following a standard template. They're experimenting. Innovating. Each ship is an improvement on the last." The bridge crew watched as the 2 mining vessels worked in concert, their quantum fields occasionally intersecting to create even more efficient matter conversion patterns. They weren't just mining, they were learning, adapting, evolving their technology with each operation. "We're not observing a mining operation," Vexthor finally said, his voice heavy with realization. "We're watching the birth of a civilization that has fundamentally changed the rules of what's possible in space. And they did it not through military might or ancient knowledge, but through the simple desire to mine resources more efficiently." As the human vessels continued their work, transforming the asteroid field into raw material for their quantum engineering, Vexthor made a decision that would change galactic history. He ordered his fleet to maintain absolute silence and continue observation. The galaxy needed to understand exactly what humanity had become before anyone made the mistake of treating them as primitive newcomers. Because these weren't just miners. They were architects of reality itself, and they had only just begun to explore their potential. The Cardassian Hive fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect attack formation. 12 biomechanical warships, their chitinous hulls gleaming with bioluminescent patterns, surrounded the human mining operation that Admiral Vexthor's fleet was still secretly observing. First Speaker Crix, leader of the Hive assault, felt nothing but contempt for the seemingly vulnerable target. These humans expand too quickly, Crix communicated through the Hive's collective consciousness. Their quantum mining operations give them too much advantage in colonial expansion. We will demonstrate why young species should know their place. The Cardassian ships deployed their primary weapons, living crystals that could tear through conventional hull materials by disrupting their atomic bonds. Standard procedure for the Hive, overwhelm with superior numbers, demonstrate their technological superiority, and force the younger race to submit to Cardassian protection and guidance. But the human response defied every tactical prediction. The smaller of the two mining vessels, designated Quantum Harvester 217 in human communications, simply turned to face the nearest Cardassian warship. Its 6 crystalline structures pulsed with that same calm blue light, but this time, something different happened. Impossible, Crix broadcast as the quantum field from the mining vessel intersected with their warship's hull. The living crystal weapons of the Cardassian vessel began to dissolve, converted into the same programmable matter that the humans used for mining. Their quantum manipulation technology, First Engineer Tlax transmitted urgently. It doesn't distinguish between asteroid material and our bioorganic technology. It's converting our weapons into raw material. The human mining station's response was equally devastating. What the Caraxians had dismissed as simple storage and processing modules suddenly reconfigured. The quantum-processed material inside formed into defense platforms that seemed to grow out of the station's surface like crystalline flowers blooming in fast motion. Fascinating adaptation, Commander Vexthor murmured from his cloaked observation post. They're using the same technology that processes asteroids to fabricate weapons. The quantum manipulation field doesn't care if it's breaking down rock or building a defense system. The larger human mining vessel, meanwhile, demonstrated yet another application of their technology. Instead of dissolving the Cardassian ships, it created a quantum field that solidified the space around 3 of the bioships, trapping them in a crystalline structure that grew from the processed asteroid material it carried. They've weaponized their entire industrial process, Lieutenant Cree observed. Every mining ship is a potential warship. Every processing station is a fortress in disguise. The Cardassian Hive fleet's attempted show of force had turned into a desperate fight for survival. Their living ships, for all their biological adaptability, couldn't counter technology that operated on such a fundamental level. The human miners weren't just defending themselves, they were treating the entire battlefield as raw material to be manipulated. Fall back. Crix ordered, but the retreat was already too late. The human station had used its quantum processing capabilities to construct what appeared to be gravity manipulation devices. The Cardassian ships found themselves caught in artificial gravity wells, unable to achieve escape velocity. What happened next demonstrated why humanity's quantum engineering was so revolutionary. The mining vessels coordinated their fields, creating a complex pattern of quantum manipulation that didn't just break down the trapped Cardassian ships, it reconstructed them. In less than an hour, the threatening Hive fleet had been converted into raw materials and rebuilt into additional mining and processing equipment. Send the emergency signal, Crix commanded the 3 ships that had managed to stay out of range. All Hive fleets must be warned. The humans aren't simply mining resources, they're advancing their quantum engineering with every engagement. They learn from everything they process. From their hidden observation post, Admiral Vexthor's crew watched as the human miners simply returned to their work, their newly constructed equipment seamlessly integrating into their operation. The station's defensive systems reconfigured back into processing modules. The quantum fields returned to their steady, peaceful pulse. Update the report to High Command, Vexthor ordered. The humans haven't developed weapons of war. They've developed something far more profound, the ability to treat the entire universe as raw material for their quantum engineering. Every tool they create can be instantly repurposed, every resource can be immediately adapted to new needs. As the remaining Cardassian ships fled into hyperspace, the human miners continued their work, apparently unfazed by the interruption. Their quantum fields danced across the asteroid field, converting matter into possibility, rebuilding reality one particle at a time. The galaxy would never be the same. The age of conventional warfare, of traditional industry, of fixed technology, it was over. The human quantum miners had shown that everything was subject to change, to reconstruction, to evolution. And they were just getting started. Dr. Raina Patel stood before the United Earth Council, her hands steady despite the weight of the moment. Behind her, a holographic display showed the devastation of the Great Resource War of 2157, the conflict that had nearly ended human civilization just 5 years before their first contact with alien life. Traditional mining methods failed. The Grand Galactic Assembly had never been so crowded. Representatives from 100 spacefaring civilizations filled the ancient chamber on Centaurus Prime, their attention focused on the central podium where Ambassador Jean Wei of Earth stood calmly before the storm. Humanity's quantum manipulation technology is not for sale, she stated firmly, her voice carrying across the vast chamber. Nor will we be sharing the fundamental research behind it. This is our final position. The chamber erupted in protests. The Mechanoid Collective's ambassador, a towering construct of gleaming metal, raised all 8 of its appendages for attention. The humans cannot maintain this monopoly, it declared in perfectly modulated tones. Quantum mining technology is too significant to remain in the hands of a single species. We demand equal access under the Galactic Technology Sharing Accords. In her private observation pod, Admiral Vexthor's daughter, Intelligence Director Nia Thor, watched the diplomatic chaos unfold. Her reports on human quantum engineering had sparked this crisis, but even she hadn't predicted how quickly the galaxy would mobilize in response. The Swarm Consciousness representative pulsed with agitation. Our deep space probes have confirmed that human mining operations have increased efficiency by 4,000% in the past solar cycle. They are expanding faster than any civilization in recorded history. This cannot continue unchecked. Ambassador Wei's expression remained diplomatic, but her words carried steel. Perhaps instead of demanding our technology, you should ask why none of your civilizations developed it first. We solved this problem out of necessity, not superiority. The assembly fell silent as classified footage began playing above the chamber, attempts by various civilizations to replicate human quantum manipulation. The Mechanoid Collective's test had ended in a quantum cascade that devoured 3 moons. The Swarm's attempt had created a temporary quantum singularity that nearly destroyed their home system. Quantum manipulation isn't just technology, Wei continued. It's a fundamentally different way of understanding reality. Our mining ships don't just operate the equipment, they're part of an ongoing experiment in quantum engineering. Every operator must understand principles that took us decades of desperate research to discover. Director Nia Thor's sensors detected multiple attempted data breaches during the ambassador's speech. The ethereal conclave was trying to scan human quantum patterns. The silicon mines were attempting to hack Earth's research databases. The dynasty of 1,000 Suns had infiltration ships moving toward human space. But Nia Thor also detected something else, something that made her facial tentacles curl in amazement. The quantum fields around human ships weren't just mining patterns. They were evolving, learning, adapting to every attempted intrusion or scan. The very acts of espionage were teaching human quantum systems new ways to manipulate reality. "We understand your concerns," Ambassador Wei acknowledged. "Humanity's expansion seems threatening. Our technology appears to violate fundamental laws of physics. But consider this, we achieved this breakthrough because we had no choice. We faced extinction and had to innovate or die." The chamber's mood shifted as Wei activated another hologram, Earth during the resource wars. The devastation, the desperation, the moment when humanity stood on the brink of self-destruction. "You all had other options," she continued. "Vast trading networks. Established colonies. Ancient technologies passed down through generations. We had nothing but our minds and our determination to survive. That's why we succeeded where others failed, because we couldn't afford to fail." Director Nyathor watched as understanding finally dawned across the assembly. The humans hadn't been blessed with superior knowledge or unexpected discoveries. They had achieved the impossible because it was the only path left to them. "We will not sell our quantum manipulation technology," Wei concluded, "because it cannot be sold. It must be understood. Earned. Developed through necessity and innovation. Any civilization that truly needs this technology will find their own path to it, just as we did." As the assembly descended into heated debate, Nyathor sent a priority message to her father. The humans weren't just protecting their technology, they were protecting the galaxy from itself. Quantum manipulation in the hands of those who hadn't earned it through their own innovation would be catastrophically dangerous. Meanwhile, throughout human space, the quantum mining fleet continued its work. Each vessel's crystalline arrays pulsed with that familiar blue light, converting matter into possibility, reshaping reality one particle at a time. And with every operation, every attempted theft, every diplomatic confrontation, the technology evolved, learned, grew more sophisticated. The galaxy would have to adapt to this new reality. Humanity hadn't just changed the rules of mining or engineering, they had proven that desperation, properly focused, could crack the foundations of reality itself. The void between stars erupted with light as the combined fleet of the ancient races tore through hyperspace. 5,000 warships, representing the most powerful civilizations in known space, emerged in attack formation. Their target, the Sol system, humanity's home. Fleet Admiral Vastrax of the Dynasty of 1,000 Suns stood on his command deck, golden armor gleaming. "The humans have refused to share their quantum manipulation technology. Therefore, they leave us no choice but to take it." But as the massive fleet approached Sol's outer defense perimeter, they found something unexpected. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter was moving. "By the eternal stars," Vastrax whispered. Every asteroid, every chunk of space rock, pulsed with that familiar blue quantum field. Thousands of human mining vessels had transformed the entire belt into a vast, programmable defensive network. Director Nyathor, now serving as humanity's official liaison to galactic civilization, opened a channel to all ships. "This is your only warning. The Sol system is protected by the full extent of human quantum engineering. Retreat, or witness why we never needed to develop weapons of war." The combined fleet answered with a barrage of energy weapons that could have shattered planets. But as the attacks approached the asteroid belt, reality itself seemed to hiccup. The energy beams were caught in quantum fields, their patterns analyzed, their structure converted into usable data. Then humanity demonstrated what 5 years of quantum mining innovation could really do. The asteroid belt moved like a living thing, each rock precisely controlled by quantum fields. But they weren't being used as simple projectiles. Instead, they began to transmute, converting their mass into exact replicas of the attacking ship's weapons. Every shot fired at Earth was analyzed, replicated, and fired back with perfect precision. Impossible, Vastrax breathed as his fleet's own weapons were turned against them. But that was just the beginning. The human mining vessels, previously dismissed as simple resource gatherers, revealed their true potential. Their crystalline arrays synchronized, creating vast quantum manipulation fields that began to alter space itself. Regions of void transformed into solid matter. Solid matter became energy fields. Energy fields collapsed into gravity wells. Admiral Vexthor, watching from his observation post with his daughter, finally understood. They never needed weapons, he said softly. They developed something far more profound, the ability to treat reality itself as a resource to be mined and repurposed. The combined fleet found itself fighting an enemy that could turn their every attack into a new defense, every strategy into a counter-strategy. The quantum mining fleet wasn't just protecting Earth, it was learning, adapting, evolving with every moment of combat. Ambassador Wei's voice echoed across all frequencies. You came to steal technology you don't understand. But quantum manipulation isn't about power, it's about understanding. Every mining vessel you see represents years of learning how reality works at its most fundamental level. You cannot steal understanding. The tide turned definitively when the human processing stations revealed their final innovation. The quantum fields synchronized across the entire system, creating a vast network that could reshape matter on an unprecedented scale. Space itself became a quantum computer, analyzing and responding to every move the combined fleet made. Vastrax watched in horror as his mighty armada was systematically disassembled, not destroyed but transformed. 5,000 warships became raw material for quantum manipulation, their very atoms reprogrammed into mining equipment, processing stations, and quantum array crystals. We tried to warn you, Director Nyathor transmitted as the last ships were converted. Humanity developed this technology through necessity, refined it through understanding, and mastered it through respect for its fundamental principles. It cannot be taken. It must be earned. In the aftermath, as the Sol system settled back into apparent normalcy, the galaxy finally understood. Humanity's quantum mining fleet wasn't just an industrial marvel or a defensive force, it was a testament to what intelligence could achieve when pushed to its absolute limits. The mining vessels returned to their endless work, their blue quantum fields pulsing steadily as they continued to process asteroids, build ships, and expand human civilization. But now they did so under the watchful, respectful eyes of a galaxy that had learned a crucial lesson: true power comes not from stealing technology, but from understanding the fundamental nature of reality itself. As Admiral Vexthor prepared his final report to the Galactic Council, he included a simple warning: the humans didn't develop better mining tools. They developed a better understanding of the universe. And in doing so, they became not conquerors or defenders, but guardians of possibility itself. The quantum mining fleet continued its work, each crystalline array a reminder that sometimes the most profound revolutions don't come from weapons or warfare, but from the simple need to dig deeper, understand better, and reshape reality one particle at a time.